Children want to go back to school. They're tired of staying at home. They miss all this. They miss their friends. They miss the swing in school. They miss the playground. They miss their teachers. They miss so many things in school. We all know that children are carriers, and we don't want them to carry this virus to their homes to vulnerable and aged parents. What are school authorities in all categories trying to do? What measures are they putting in place to make sure that when school reopens, the students will be safe? Don't go away, we will be back very shortly. My name, Toshima Pius Ikerafi.
This is against all odds.
Inasmuch as greater lessons are learned outside the classroom, through social interaction with like minds or experienced adults, we cannot take away the fact that the four walls of the classroom plays a major role in the foundation and grooming of a child. Every brings out the best from a child. It builds a child's confidence, aura. It gives the child a sense of security, privacy, and awareness. And whether the society agrees or not, children have missed school a great deal.
Group D, question number 8. Which of the following is an obtuse angle? Which of the following is an obtuse angle? 93, A, 93 degrees, B, 193 degrees, C, 293 degrees, D, 350 degrees. Which of these is an obtuse angle?
What I miss about school is that when you're in school, you get to meet people of different characters, people of different backgrounds, and you get to learn more. Plus the knowledge you have, you add it together and you get to learn more. But when you're at home, you're only restricted to your parents and your siblings, and it will not make you to learn more because it's still from them. You still learn what you have. So but if you're around people from different backgrounds, you will get to know more. And again, these online lessons we are doing, you don't get to interact with your teacher, you don't get to have eye contact with your teachers, and some people don't get to understand. But in class, if you're in class with your teachers, you get to interact, you get to have eye contact with them, they get to demonstrate with their body and so on. So I miss school a lot.
This is against all odds.
I miss when we lived without fear. Fear of the invincible enemy. Fear of one another. When can we go back to days of hugging and high fives, of studying in a classroom and going about our daily lives? When next will we visit our loved ones across the bridge?
COVID-19 obviously has no intentions to leave us so soon. Based on the fact that children are carriers, the government, in its own wisdom, is taking the time to carefully monitor how children can go back to school. But no matter how long this takes, schools will definitely reopen. The big question is, what measures are school authorities putting in place to ensure safety?
Basic one, we expect every child to have attained the age of 6. From that age, they can always use a face mask. So we'll ensure that all of them comply from basic 1 to basic 6. We have our gun thermometer ready to check if there's a rise in temperature of any child. If we notice a rise in the body temperature of a child, we ask the child to go home, and also will not allow any sick child to stay in the school. As soon as they gain entrance into the school, we have running water in the school premises where they can always wash their hands before they go into the school. we've also decided not to hold the regular school assembly, so we will embrace the classroom morning assembly for our pupils now, so that we can decongest the number of children that will gather at a time. For our pupils that are coming to school in the school bus, we ensure that before they board the bus, their temperature is checked, the hand sanitizer is used before they join the bus. To suspend all sporting activities, because this will bring the children together, and then we've also decided to eliminate the playtime. So for now, we look for other things that they can be doing at their break time rather than playing together. Now for the teachers and the minders, the school management will ensure that they use their face mask from the point they are engaging the pupils till the last child leaves the class.
If the school is eventually opened, as you come in, we have kept water at the three main gates into the university, and you wash your hands properly. There are sanitizers, and we will ensure that you come in with face masks. We will not force people to put them on, especially people who are in cars. But once you are out of the vehicle, you must put your face mask on. These are the kind of things that we do right at the gate. We must also talk about, entry into hostels. We will ensure that the only people who are given hostel accommodation are allowed into the hostel. Here at those, some students will just bring people to squat with them. But with this COVID-19 pandemic, we ensure that there's decongestion in the hostel. Only people who are located spaces in the hostel that will be allowed to stay in the hostel. When we resume, we ensure that students come to complete their exams, and they will come in batches, in such a way that the social distance is maintained. Senate, we have to meet and decide on a new academic calendar, because so much time has been lost. So we need to do academic calendar that will take care of the completion of exams and even the continuation of studies. We have a population of over 25,000 students. So if we just allow these students to come back at once on campus, you are going to have population explosion, and that will defeat the aim of keeping the social distances and all that. So I'm sure our Senate will decide that even in a resumption, students will resume in batches, in phases. In fact, we have somebody on contract who fumigates our university on a regular basis. But I think the kind of fumigation we're going to do now is going to be more professional. So we'll bring in people who can do it in such a way that we can kick out this virus out of our campus. We have made arrangements to provide students with face masks so that they won't have any excuse of not having face masks. Already we have procured quite a number of face masks, ready that when students come, we will distribute them freely, to the students.
It's especially very gratifying that you would speak to a fellow Nigerian across the oceans. It means that it will afford us, it will enable us to renew some of our facilities, like the washrooms, toilets, and facilities that we were hoping and planning to develop. This pandemic has brought the need closer to hand. That we need to do that now is to deploy temperature guns at all entry gates so that we can take a temperature as the staff enter the campus to ensure that they are not showing symptoms of COVID-19. Seeing that Fiji hasn't confirmed any case now for close to 2 months, we are just hoping that there are no carriers coming onto the campus. But the next step we want to do, and which is now going on, is to install all the hygiene equipment in toilets, meeting rooms, classrooms, so that people can disinfect themselves properly. But in the classrooms, we'll be putting in sanitizers so that staff and students can wipe off their hands whenever they touch any surfaces as they come into the meeting rooms and classrooms. What we have decided to do is to ask the government to let us use that book allowance to supply computers. rather than books, because with computers and similar devices, you'll be able to put e-books so that students don't really need to buy the hard copy books these days. They'll be able to download books onto the system, onto their computers. So that is what we intend to do, to ensure that we have 100% readiness whenever online is being delivered again.
We provided masks for all the students. Everyone entering the institution is sanitized and is made to wash their hands. We will be enforcing social distancing to make sure everyone is 2 meters apart. Even in the classes, in the dining room, when they're sleeping, they're not so clustered. There's enough space. The teachers, everyone has been trained on personal hygiene, on maintaining social distancing, and on maintaining, on being safe enough. If you notice, if we notice that anyone's temperature is rising, have an isolation room as well, that they can be isolated from everybody else, right? And we're in touch with hospitals as well, so that in the case where anyone has the virus, they can be isolated first of all, and then they can be safely transported to an isolation center. Of course, we have a matron on site, so we're right on track. So when Lagos State says that it's safe for schools to resume, we'll resume as well. But in terms of checking on the students, everyone is fine. Everyone has been accounted for. So we thank God.
This is against all odds.
As a parent, okay, will you be comfortable when schools are finally opened up to let your children go back to school?
Yes, I'm 100% comfortable because my children right now at home, they used to stay with face masks. Anytime we are going out, they will go out with their face masks. So after preparing them for school, they will put on their face masks. They will go to their class with their face masks. Then 10 minutes apart, they will sanitize their hands.
What a big question for parents to answer. Children are children, Dad, where I'm excited that children want to go back to school. They've actually missed school a lot. But one thing that is sure for every home, for every parent to know, like what I taught my children, is the usage of this very mask. They must know, and it is essential that before entering the school premises, a child without a mask shouldn't be allowed to be in the classroom with her mates or his mates. And the usage of hand sanitizer. Please, every parent must provide a child at least 700 milligrams of it. It's not too much for a child to take into the bag to school. That was what I prepare my children to do as at this hour. And of course, every school must ensure that there is water and sanitizer to wash their hands at school.
I was really worried. I was really scared to see that the children are the ones to be used as an experiment to check, because that is the language they made us to understand, to check if the COVID-19 or the coronavirus is transferable from a child to another one, which they said is not possible. So the children were like sent out as an experiment, but thank God they are fine. What I normally do when they wake up in the morning, they took their baths, I dress them up, I prepare their lunch, because they normally stay over to eat in the school compound. So I just prepare their food. But before they leave the house, as a believer, as a Christian, and as a mother, I will always pray for them that the Egyptian sickness, as we normally call it, is never your portion. I cover you with the blood of Jesus, and I give you every protection from the Almighty God. It's just prayer, and I believe in my heart that it is done. So that is my confidence.
3 months running and still counting. The awareness is high. Children in turn have learned from their parents, caregivers, social media, news, and so many mediums of communication. How ready are they, and how can they protect themselves?
It's time for we students to resume schools because no one knows when COVID-19 is going to be over. No one knows when we are going to find a cure for COVID-19. As far as we know all preventive measures, we can now resume schools. And here are the preventive measures.
6 things to do to prevent coronavirus in school. 1. Maintain social distancing. 2. Wear face mask. 3. Wash your hands with soap and water for 30 seconds. 4. Use hand sanitizer. 5. Sneeze in your elbow. 6. Pray.
I wish this is over sooner. When can we go back to days of studying in a classroom and going about our daily lives?
COVID-19, as we all know, is a very infectious disease. And in anticipation of the reopening of schools, I'm going to be taking various measures in order not to get infected by COVID-19.
We'll try our possible best to maintain social distance, and also in our classrooms we'll try and sit 2 meters away from each other. The classes won't be as crowded as before.
I owe myself a responsibility, so by the time we are able to go back to school, be able to keep social distance, and not just see anybody and start hugging the person. We have to carry our sanitizers, our face masks, like our own biros and books.
In social distancing, one of the social distancing rules is that no crowded place, and you don't know who is who, you don't know the home they are coming from, you are not sure of where they are coming from, so you need to prevent yourself. You don't need to stay in a crowded place, and again, you need to be prayerful.
And so when I go to school, first, your hand sanitizer, rub it when you are entering the gate. You rub it first. Second, when you enter the bathroom, don't rush and go and be running in the bathroom and be saying, I'll be the first to wash my hand. Third, wear your face mask and don't pull it unless the thing chokes you. COVID-19 is real. Don't be a carrier of COVID-19. Say no by staying safe. We need to protect ourselves as we go to school. Remember the preventive measures taught by Daddy and Mommy.
Together
we can fight COVID-19.
Wow. Sounds like these children have their weapons to send COVID-19 back to base. In the face of COVID-19, another greater evil springs forth: rape. This year's theme for Children's Day celebration had emphasis on the girl-child education. What is the place of the girl-child education in the face of COVID-19 and rape?
We're used to the formal education being inside the school and inside the classroom. So for us, we're talking to the head teachers in the various schools that we have girls in, making sure they have wash stations with the first thing, hand hygiene. So teaching the girls and other students in the school the importance of actually washing your hands, then providing the face masks for them because, they need these things to help protect themselves. So we're making sure that they understand why they're wearing them and what this illness is about. I think with the rules of social distancing, wearing face masks and other ways that we can prevent the COVID infection itself, I think if the idea will be to actually hope that school opens up as quickly as possible. Because we know with other diseases, like with Ebola, people were out of school for almost a year. And in like Sierra Leone and the rest of the countries, like girls didn't go back to school. A lot of the girls didn't go back to school after. They got married, they had children, all these things. And then you lose them because they're already behind. So the hope will be school should open as quick as possible. Then you obey all the rules of social distancing, and then classrooms can start, and then we can get educated. And also not forget the advocacy of why it's important to actually educate the girl child. She's behind, that means that in everything, economically, socially, whatever the case will be in society, she's left. If you're behind, you need to push for you to be more involved before you can catch up. For the less privileged girl, it's more difficult, and she has no voice. So we hope with people like us, we can actually advocate more for them. I think it's worse than it was before because, first of all, they have poverty to deal with and lack of education. Now with being at home, gender-based violence has increased, as we know. It's very common. Now it's going to be more rampant because you have that the girl is at the close proximity to whoever her violator might be. And these girls don't talk. They don't say anything because they're afraid there's shame attached to it.
With the new normal now, we must approach it with a different attitude of protecting ourselves. It's about you first. Discipline and responsibility plays a huge role as we approach every sector of the economy, whether in worship centers, malls, markets, banks, or even schools. Caution is the key word. We must arise and bring forth our collective efforts and strategy to face this war against all odds and help all our children and girl child get the desired education they need. An idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Good morning, ma'am. Oh, good morning. How are you? Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Wow. Hello, teacher. Thank you very much.
Together we can fight COVID-19.
It's a good thing that the children themselves are aware of the dangers of COVID-19 and so they are ready to protect themselves. The school authorities are also ready to make sure that the virus is curtailed. Thank you for always staying with us on Against All Odds. Let's do this again, same time, next week, same station. It is the new normal. Remember, always wash your hands with soap under running water. Sanitize your hands. Use your face masks when necessary. And when there is no need to go anywhere, stay at home, the safest measure. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Dushima Pius Ikirafe.
Free from COVID-19. Things to go back, make it be like before. But these times are hard. Stay safe and let's endure. So social distance, oh my brother. Wear your face mask, oh my sister. Wash your hand well, my brother. We want to be free. We want to be free. We want to be free. Your loved ones and you want to go to work, but we have to stay at home and stop this infection. We will overcome these times and get rid of this disease. We will overcome these times and live in unity. We want to be free. We want to be free.
In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, information management is key.
I'm Cyril Stober.
Fatima Umar Buba.
Joseph Johnson.
Ian Ray John.
Muhammad Kudu Abubakar.
Jumbo Yusuf.
My name is Kirian Umaya.
Here in NTA, we're working very hard to make sure that everything we broadcast is accurate and up to date. Misinformation spreads very fast.
The social media has been a huge conveyor of misleading information from one individual to another, then to another set of groups. In a short while, it goes viral, and before you know it, it is all over the world.
There have been several misleading information on coronavirus COVID-19. Recently, the misconception of 5G as a cause of coronavirus is becoming widespread. Another is the belief that hot beverages and alcoholic drinks are internal cleanser for COVID-19, thereby leading to excessive consumption of these drinks.
The use of local concoctions as treatment for COVID-19 are yet to be scientifically proven. However, there has been several theories about the efficacies of these concoctions. We should stay safe and denounce all manner of fake news and misleading information on COVID-19.
For medical advice, go on the WHO website, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC website, or stick with the advisories from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 or other authentic official sources. NTA is one of them.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. All visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
24 hours a day, 7 days.
Federal government works out modalities for 774,000 jobs under the Special Public Works Program. Regulatory agencies call for vigilance over fraudulent activities in the cyberspace. Are you preparing to use the airports as the easing on the lockdown begins? Well, be certain you will be interacting with robots. This is Business Express, and we are reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. October 1, 2020 is the tentative date for the takeoff of 774,000 jobs across all local government areas of the Federation. This Monday, the federal government inaugurated the state selection committees for the Special Public Works Program. President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier announced the creation of the program to mitigate lack of job opportunities in the rural areas through a short-term engagement of 1,000 unemployed persons per local government area for a period of 3 months. The initiative will see beneficiaries earn an allowance of 20,000 naira monthly to carry out public work and will be recruited largely from the pool of unskilled persons ordinarily resident in rural areas. Dr. Nasiru Ladan Mohamed Argungu is the Director General of the National Directorate of Employment, NDE. He joins us to discuss the 774,000 direct jobs planned in the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan, the NESP. You're welcome to Business Express, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Well, sir, tell us about this job opportunity and what is the possible duration for this engagement.
Well, you see, the whole initiative is from Mr. President himself, and this is the biggest single project taken by any government in the history of Nigeria as far as employment generation is concerned. We are talking of engaging 774,000 unskilled, unemployed Nigerians in the 774 local government. It involves 1,000 young men and women per each local government. It's a community-based grassroots program.
Wow, like you said, it is the biggest so far.
Yes.
So Nigerians would like to know what is the criteria for this engagement.
You see, as far as I'm concerned, there is no qualification. We are talking of unskilled. There is no qualification. In terms of educational qualifications, I mean, once you are a Nigerian and you are 18 years and above, you are qualified to get involved.
Okay, this one that is unskilled and there is no any other criteria for such engagement, what exactly would they be doing? And is there any concession, preference for maybe consideration for women and youth?
Yeah, you know, greater percentage of unemployed Nigerians are young men and women and the elderly. So in most cases, preference is given to the teeming unemployed youth and women. So there is that one.
So what is the possible economic impact that is expected, more so that a lot of households have been impacted negatively on this impact of COVID-19? So what's the economic impact at the end of the day?
You see, if you look at the amount of money involved and the total number of people that are to be engaged, we are talking of 15 billion naira to go into our economy on monthly basis. So if you multiply that by 3, as each and every beneficiaries is going to earn 20,000 naira for the period of 3 months because it is a dry season drive. We are looking at the possibility of taking them off the street because during the rainy season, most of them are back to their various farms. So if you look at it, somebody earning 60,000 naira, maybe he has a small business. If you look at what is happening within the localities, you realize that most of our local businessmen and women, their capital is no more than 10,000 naira at most. But now you have about 60,000
in 3 months.
So if you look at over 46 billion going into circulation in 774 local governments, that will involve 774 Nigerians. It's like 20 million naira going into each local government per month. So we're talking of 60 million to go into circulation. So you can imagine what it will do to our microeconomy at the grassroots level.
Okay, 20,000 naira, 60,000 naira is a lot of money at that particular level. Is there any thinking of how to also help them utilize these funds, particularly into some little things they're doing?
You see, I tell you one thing. In most cases, we do give what we call BBT training, basic business training, mainly to those that we train. But the fact that these young men and women are to be engaged in a community-based program, something to do with taking care of their environment so that at least they can earn something. If you're a farmer, 60,000 is more than enough for you to buy a water pumping machine so that you can continue your farming business. If you are into various other forms of businesses, 60,000, if injected, if well managed judiciously, it will go a long way.
Okay, Are there specifications, let's say work hours, how many hours in a day would they be engaged, how many times in a week, or is it a Monday to Friday, or is it an all-day engagement?
It's all-day engagement, but they have Saturdays and Sundays off so that they can rest. And the nature of the work they are supposed to do is taking care of critical federal government, state and local government infrastructures. For example, we have a lot of solar panels that are installed from states up to local government that are not working. All they need is for the panels to be clean, and you see they are back to normal. In areas whereby we have floods because of the blockages on drainages, these young men and women can be engaged so that they can have them cleared. Even vegetation control along the federal highways and state highways and the rest of them, even put forth some rural roads that leads to their farms and the rest of them, and even traffic control. So it is a multi-sectorial something that has to do with taking care of critical, maintenance of critical infrastructure within their community.
Okay, DG, for most Nigerians, checks and balances is key, and more so that this is the largest so far, 774,000 jobs. Are there strategies on ground to ensure that this is well managed within the periods it's going to subsist?
You see, as far as I'm concerned, NTA has been in existence for the past 34, 35 years. We have offices in all the geopolitical zones. We have state offices, 36, 37, including FCT. Out of the 774 local government, we have desk officers in 691 of them. We're just adding up to make sure that wherever in all the local governments we have desk officers. And in terms of our widespread, you can see we're virtually everywhere. And my brother, the fact that we did pilot studies in 8 states that involves 40,000 young men and women across the country, Mr. President was so impressed. And that's the reason why he said, now you have to do it in all the local governments. What I have to say is this. As far as I'm concerned, as far as ND is concerned, we are going to do justice to Nigerians, mainly the downroaders, the ones that are unemployed, the ones that are looking for money to take care of their families. I'm telling you, we are going to do justice to Nigerians.
No doubt, the SMEs are the drivers of the economy, and they are the most hit during this period. Like you mentioned, so part of your trainings, can you enlighten Nigerians on what other smaller businesses, what other trainings can they engage in to survive COVID-19 and post-COVID-19?
You see, if you look at the activities of NDE, our program is on daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. As I'm talking to you now, under vocational skill development, we have a program called BNOS, Mega BNOS, Mega Basic Open National Apprentice Scheme, whereby we engage 50 young men and women in each of the 774 local government to be trained on various trades of their choice. We give them forms to fill, pick whatever they want to be trained on. We attach them to local artisans or master crafters. We collect their details, bank details, including BBN. The same thing with their trainer. The only condition, we give them logbook, attendance register, and ID card. The only condition for them to give the stipends that we normally pay them at the end of every month is they must attend their place of learning at least 20 times in a month. Once they do that, they are qualified for the stipends. And this thing comes directly into their various banks account from GiveMe's account, which is government account.
DJ, I must confess that I was part of that scheme way back some 20 years ago.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nasiru Ladan Mohamed Argungu, DG ND, for sharing your thoughts with us. It is gladdening to know that we are conquering COVID-19 with job creation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on. Nigerian consumers fell into harder times with coronavirus pandemic that in turn affected their purchasing power. Some of the people was hit by low patronage at telephone vendors, as recent survey conducted by Nigeria-based fintech shows that phone and other allied product vendors have lost about 30% of their invested capital to economic impact of COVID-19. For our Surviving COVID-19 segment, Moplang Dakok visited a phone vending market in Abuja.
today we are here at the Zone 1 GSM village to find out what exactly is happening to the market. Anthony Okoye started the phone vending business 15 years ago, but he says the impact of the coronavirus pandemic made him lose some of his capital for the first time this year.
Honestly, this COVID-19, he will little deal with us. Even many guys in this market say, some people maybe with a little amount they are even doing business. After the lockdown of this and stuff, now the business collapsed. Many people are not buying phone now because they were locked down. Many of them are not coming out. Instead of them to money to buy phone, they save it and buy food first.
Another vendor, Emeka, is optimistic that business will pick up when markets are eventually fully opened.
Now we have days of opening, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and we have time of closing also. So all those times, many customers do come during time of closing. You know, many government workers they come during time of closing by 4 or 5. But now we don't do business again with them. Everything is rush up, and we'll go home.
The sellers are unanimous in saying prices of phones have remained stable, with only slight increases in some cases, despite the pandemic. They, however, lament that products are coming in partially because operators have not been able to transport in most of their goods. They believe that when cargo operations resume fully, businessmen like Anthony will be able to smile to the banks once more.
3 months after flight operations were suspended to contain the spread of coronavirus, a test flight departed Abuja Airport to Lagos on Saturday, involving members of the Presidential Task Force expected to evaluate preparation for flight resumption.